Hey guys, it's me again, Nova, the edgy karate guy, your Tekken buddy. It's been a while, huh? I've been so busy, so much work. This is probably the last video dedicated to Tekken 7 I will be making. And today, I want to talk about my biggest regret in Tekken 7 and how I will probably resent this because I guess it's too little too late to do anything about it. Since Tekken 7 is on its deathbed, breathing through a respirator, and Tekken 8 is right over there. So far, I don't have a PS5 nor a modern PC to actually be able to run games, let alone modern games. My laptop can barely run PSP games, let alone a PS5 game. For those who don't know, I started my Tekken 7 journey in June 2022, so I didn't have enough time to enjoy the game to its fullest. Not that my experience was overall enjoyable anyway. I actually had a very unpleasant experience with Tekken 7, to the point this game almost made me lose my passion for Tekken entirely. Since the character that was affected the most by the travesty of Tekken 7 non-movement happens to be my character, Jin Kazama, who somehow happens to have severely sabotaged lateral movement, sometimes moving like Marduk, sometimes moving worse than Marduk, like Jack, even though he is a normal-sized male character and is supposed to move like such. But I digress. Let's talk about my biggest regret in Tekken 7, which is not giving the Final Fantasy bro a chance. Noctis loses Kylo. This character is pretty much a dream come true for me in Tekken 7. So you might be asking, what? Noctis? What the hell? When you talk about Noctis, this is what immediately comes to mind for the most of the Tekken player base. But what really is Noctis? What does he even represent as a Tekken character, being seemingly so alien to the Tekken environment? I'll tell you what he is. Noctis is Jin. Except Noctis is Jin, but better than Jin in every single aspect of what makes Jin gameplay, except his reactive game, which I will cover later. So what the hell do I mean by Noctis is Jin? I'll show you. Aside from unorthodox range shenanigans, Noctis' arsenal packs an array of pokes, fundies, and essential buttons that are nearly identical to Jin's key moves and their respective applications. But if that wasn't enough, Noctis' versions of trademark Jin moves are superior versions from what Jin brought and pioneered into Tekken. Let's start with the most quintessential example. Shun Masatsu, Jin back to 1. I myself cannot overstate how good and how precious this move is to Jin gameplay. The introduction of Shun Masatsu in Tekken 6 was a complete revolution in the way you think Jin and the way you play Jin. This move not only is a multi-purpose tool, but it also is many times the ideal specialized answer to deal with something your opponent did, and it is also a very powerful round ending tool. But then I happened to just recently meet this guy, Noctis, and he completely overshadowed the power I believed I had with Jin back to 1, because he has not only one, but rather two versions of this move. But not only that, they also happen to be superior versions from Jin back to 1. This, my friends, completely blew up my mind to the point I refused to believe what I was seeing with my own two eyes. Noctis has Jin back to 1 on steroids. Let's start with Noctis 2-2, Blitz Rush. Noctis 2-2 functions exactly like Jin back to 1, except it is better in every single aspect while dealing the same damage. Both are 15 frames, mid strings, and both will leave them -9 on block respectively. The thing about Noctis 2-2 for starters is that it has even more range than Jin back to 1. This is so amazing, it can't be overstated. Also, Jin back to 1 is only +2 on hit, whereas Noctis 2-2 is +6 on hit. +6. guaranteeing an uninterruptible mix-up. Also, unlike Jin back to 1, it is a weapon. It cannot be normally parried or reversed. Also, unlike Jin back to 1, which is completely linear to both sides on the neutral, Noctis CH completely covers one side. It will always catch people sidestepping or sidewalking right, except Lily. Also, unlike Jin back to 1, Noctis CH has 3 different follow-ups for mix-up potential and mental plus frames on 2-2 alone. Noctis 2-2-2-2-2 will cover people trying to step after the second hit. Also, and this is unbelievable to me because I have great hit confirming skills, being able to hit Noctis third hit 2-2-2 will guarantee the entire string for a guaranteed down 2 follow-up on the ground. 2-2-2 also has the most insane wall carry property ever after dash jabs. He then has 2-2-4-2 as a mid follow-up to catch people ducking the high follow-up, and it also happens to be a brutal counter hit launcher. Not only this is not launch punishable for most of the cast, but it is also highly delayable. Then, he also has 2-2 back 2, which can be used to optimize lengthy combos after dash jabs, and also has evasive teleporting properties for very specific situational shenanigans where you whiff 2-2 and you want a last resort to avoid getting whiff punished. So, not only I have superior range, superior tracking, and much superior frames on hit that will guarantee me an uninterruptible mix-up, but I also offer my opponents the constant threat of 3 different follow-ups, which will give 2-2 alone mental plus frames because they can't immediately engage their offense, unlike Jin back to 1, which always ends your turn at -9 with you close from the opponent, guaranteeing the opponent will always get a free mix-up on you. Also, Noctis 2-2 will always clip Akuma and the 2D alien abominations in their jump-in attempts, even at the peak of Akuma's jump, meaning Noctis 2-2 is a legit anti-air tool, making Noctis by far the anti-Akuma character. I'll demonstrate some examples just so you can see how powerful this is. There's also another very important factor here, delayability. Noctis 2-2 can also be delayed, like Jin back to 1. But here's the thing, once you delay Jin back to 1, it immediately stops being a natural combo. You cannot possibly hit confirm Jin back to 1. You can only counter hit confirm Jin back to 1 or float confirm Jin back to 1. If Jin back 2 happens to be a counter hit, the delayed second hit will connect, but it will never connect on normal hit. But now, when it comes to Noctis 2-2, no matter how much you delay it, the second hit will always connect as a natural combo. You can't make this shit up. I can't overstate how this move alone is a dream come true to a Jin player, and I'm only talking about Noctis 2-2 yet. I also wonder how can a character be allowed to have such things. I always took Jin Shun Masatsu as my absolute favorite move in Tekken. I mean, just look at this. And I assumed I had the best multi-purpose mid in the game and felt so privileged of having it, since my opponents always complain of my usage of this move, claiming it is broken. Until I met Final Fantasy Bro, who took Jin Shun Masatsu to the next level. There is no possible comparison between these moves. Noctis 2-2 is better than Jin back to 1 in every single department, to the point it's not even funny. They took a trademark move from Jin and dialed it to 11. Then let's talk about Noctis' second alternative Jin back to 1. Despite being a dream come true move to Jin players and being almost perfect in every way, Noctis 2-2 still has a noticeable weakness. which is sidewalk left. Jin back to 1 is usually linear and can be stepped or walked to either side, but Noctis CH can be walked to the left. This is where your backup weapon comes in. Noctis down back 1, 1+2, Dancing Edge. This move, like Jin back to 1, is a 15 frames mid. This move, like Jin back to 1, has a powerful wall carry property, but carrying even further than Jin due to the extra hit. This move, unlike Jin back to 1, is a weapon, not a punch. This move, unlike Jin back to 1, deals 27 damage instead of 22 damage. This move, unlike Jin back to 1, is +6 on hit instead of +2. This move, unlike Jin back to 1, is -5 on block instead of -9. I shit you not, this move is -5 on block, meaning you have plenty of defensive options to work with after getting this move blocked, such as movement, and we will talk about movement later, but also backdashing and his reversal as a rewarding setup, particularly when close to the wall. The thing is, this move works as a direct and perfect complement to Noctis CH because it will fully track sidestep or sidewalk left. No existing character in Tekken 7 can go left and avoid this move, not even Lily. Its weakness is actually that which Noctis CH covers, which is sidestep or sidewalk right, so they complement each other. Another amazing property is that should you hit the opponent with down back to 1, 1+2, the opponent will not be able to explore the weakness of a consecutive down back 1, 1+2 because he becomes slightly tilted to the side after being hit with the dual dagger upward slashes. So you do it once, get +6 and you can damn well do it again, zero fucks given, because not only it is a fast multi-hitting weapon that will deal 27 damage, but you'll be only -5 should it be blocked. Now, when it comes to combo applications, just like Noctis CH, this move has so many powerful applications it blew my mind. What makes it even much more special than Jin back to 1 is the fact that the first hit, down back 1, starts with a spike, and only then comes the dual dagger upward slashes, meaning you'll be able to manipulate weird wall situations much more efficiently. Not to mention it deals more hits and more damage than Jin back to 1, in the sense that if you keep accumulating enough hits and you manage to peel the opponent off the wall, you can literally send the motherfucker flying to the other side of the screen like a shooting star. The fact that the first hit starts with a spike will always guarantee the second and third hit will connect, unlike Jin back to 1, which will eventually stop connecting once you reach a certain number of hits in the combo. The initial spike from down back 1 makes every subsequent interaction much more solid and consistent. There's so much unbelievable stuff you can do with this shit, you have no idea. I'll show you later. Now, let's talk about Noctis' ultimate weapon, FF1+2, Shadow Scissors. This is where Jin gameplay gets really dialed to 11. Noctis FF1+2 is a 16 frames advancing mid like Jin's FF2, which also happens to be homing like Jin's Magic 4, Jodan Mawashigiri, which also happens to be a fucking counter hit launcher like Jin F4, Maigeri, which also happens to be a weapon with an unbelievably consistent low reaching hitbox to beat mid evasion. I have no words to describe what this move is from the perspective of a Jin player. I sincerely can't put into words how this can possibly exist in a character, for real. It's like a dream come true move for a Jin player. Noctis FF1+2 is an ultimate fusion between 3 of Jin's most essential moves, all fused in a single package. The fact that it encompasses all these properties in a single move actually solves so many gruesome issues Jin has. I'll give you a clear example.
Não, eu sou louco! Eu tô louco! Não! Eu não tô louco! Eu não tô louco! pode! Sua vagabunda!
Eu sei que a senhora é rica. Eu sei que a senhora não gosta de mim.
Os filhos do Brasil. É lamentável. É um grito de alerta que eu estou fazendo aos pais e às mães. Veja bem, se não tem que mandar matar uma desgraça dessa.
Vá a merda! Vá a merda! Vá onde, Ricardo? A merda! Vá onde, Gazela? A merda! Aonde, Gazelinha? A merda! Aonde, Moicholinha? A merda! Aonde, Gazelinha? A merda! Aonde, Gazelinha? A merda! Eu volto amanhã.
That being said, you can understand why a Jin player would make so much out of this move. This is the best thing ever. Now, let's talk about conservative lows. Just like Jin, Noctis needs a conservative low poke that holds his offense in the neutral together, like a glue that keeps everything tight and in place. And they both have an unreactable low poke that serves this exact same purpose. A 16 frames, high crushing, conservative sweeping low with low damage. They are Jin down 4 and Noctis down 3. The difference is, while Jin down 4 deals 11 joke damage, Noctis down 3 deals 13 damage. Also, Jin down 4 only fully covers sidestep left and sidewalk left. It is actually weak to Jin's already weak side, which is right. Whereas Noctis down 3 is pretty much homing. It is not an officially homing move, but no Tekken character will ever step or walk it, including Lily. Meaning, not only it is a conservative, unreactable low option to beat jabs, magic force and electrics like Jin down 4, but it is also a complete movement shutdown simultaneously. Since Noctis is only -2 on hit, even from a crouching state, he can threaten the opponent with this amazing counter hit tool he has, Up Forward 1, which I will cover right away. Noctis Up Forward 1 has pretty much the same applications as Jin Magic 4 or Sieve Back 1. The difference being Jin Magic 4 is an officially homing move, whereas Noctis Up Forward 1 gives 100% coverage to sidewalk left, but it is weak to sidestep right. What makes Noctis Up Forward 1 so special is 1. It is a weapon. 2. It has insane range for a counter hit launcher of this category. It has slightly more range than Jin Magic 4. 3. Unlike Jin Magic 4, which is -9 on block, completely giving up your turn and forcing you to deal with a mix-up from your opponent, Noctis Up Forward 1 is -4. Fucking -4. You know what this means, right? Another aspect that makes Noctis superior to Tekken 17 is directly comparing their Fundies, their most fundamental Tekken moves. I'm talking about jab and down forward 1. You'll see that Noctis has superior frames and properties to Jin in every department. Let's directly compare their jab strings and their down forward 1. Noctis down forward 1 is so much superior to Jin down forward 1. The fact that it is -1, while always threatening with the possibility of the follow-ups, gives you so much to work with. You can follow with a jab and rest easy that most magic force in the game will lose to you. You can easily move. You can easily sidestep block or sidestep duck according to the matchup. You can follow with another down forward 1, or you can even challenge with Noctis Up Forward 1 if you expect a slower retaliation, such as a tracking move to beat your movement. A down forward 1 with follow-ups isn't supposed to be -1 on block. Also, Noctis down forward 1 has some very special property that makes Mishima's lives a living nightmare. You are -1. They can only beat you with a jab. But your next down forward 1 will completely ignore their jabs and flash punch attempts. Granted, Jin 2-1 is still one of the best jab strings in the game, let's not forget that. Jin's range buff on his fundamentals in Tekken 8 will significantly impact the efficiency of this character, but that is a subject for another video. Also, we cannot forget to mention this exclusive Noctis weapon, Noctis Back 2. When it comes to safe gameplay, Jin has a very particular difficulty when the opponent is a very solid defender and is not afraid to duck lows. Jin doesn't exactly have what we call a power mid to discourage the opponent from ducking. The only way Jin can call out ducks is either through unsafety or weaker options such as FF2, F4 or down 1. This one of course stops being weak when he's close to the wall, but it still has a very slow and exposed startup. The thing is, in open space, Jin has no safe way of really making the opponent afraid to duck, like really afraid. FF3 is 100% reactable. You can literally fuzzy Jin's approach if his intention is mixing FF3 with LRK. This is where Noctis Back 2 comes in. I can't even define this move properly. Bear with me. This move is a safe 14 frames, again, 14 frames mid, a body shot. Alone, this move will only deal 13 damage. But if you press 1+2 during the frames the body shot connected, Noctis will do another body shot, charged with a Final Fantasy Thunder magic, which is likely Thunder or even Tandara, but not Tandaga obviously. The move that was supposed to deal 13 damage will now deal 37 damage, freaking 37 damage, while also leaving you at +6, just like Noctis Blitz Rush and Noctis Dancing Edge, guaranteeing another uninterruptible mix-up. I can't even define the delight that is this move, because this move is too damn fast to be considered a power mid, but it also deals too much damage to be considered a poke. Let's call this weapon a power poke. Noctis has a f***ing power poke to make people terrified of ducking or trying to low parry Noctis offense. There is also another reason people might be heavily discouraged to low parry Noctis. The reason being, Noctis has 3 lows that cannot be low parried, each one having a different application. One is a long range poke with decent damage and 0 on hit. Other is his homing plus frame low to mix with the shield bash mid wall splat. And the other is for greed. Tekken 7 Jin, despite what many people who don't even know the character beyond surface claim about him, is actually a defective character with heavily sabotaged lateral movement and a non-OKIZEME for an OKIZEME. Unlike Jin, Noctis doesn't suffer with these artificial defects Namco deliberately put in Tekken 7 Jin. Quite the contrary. Noctis has a ridiculously powerful lateral movement that only a DLC male character would have, which I will cover later, and a very powerful OKIZEME. Let's demonstrate it. After a knockdown, Tekken 7 Jin is the only character in Tekken history who cannot hit grounded opponents who deliberately chose to stay on the ground, like so. Every single ground hitting option from Tekken 7 Jin will be negated by side roll right. Tekken 7 Jin only has an OKIZEME if the opponents give it to you by tech rolling or doing quick back roll. Noctis doesn't have such absurdities in any way. He has plenty of options that will always hit the opponent who didn't tech and chose to stay on the ground, while also having powerful options against the opponent who did tech, such as his full crouch mix-up, which is particularly very powerful against the wall. Also, when it comes to dealing with the opponent's wake-up options, Noctis, unlike Tekken 7 Jin, is not a defective character. Noctis has functional 12-frame punishers that actually exist unlike Tekken 7 Jin. Tekken 7 Jin's only option is an YOLO deductive parry, being punished or even launch punished by a wake up low kick or punished by a delayed wake up mid kick. Noctis' lateral movement is very much above normal size male characters like Kazuya, let alone Tekken 7 Jin's lateral movement, which will often move like Jack in many interactions and Marduk in many other interactions. Tekken 7 Jin's standards for movement is completely alien and unthinkable for Noctis, who can pretty much waltz around your opponent's offense. By playing Noctis, I finally felt something at least remotely similar to playing PS3 Tekken again, since I could fucking move laterally like a Tekken character should. I kept having Tekken Tag 2 flashbacks when I started getting my opponent's backs around 5 times per match. I'll show you firsthand what I mean.
Perfect. Fight. KO. Fight.
Time for some fun.
KO. Fight. You win, quarter.
Just a minute, please. Before we continue, I need to shed some of these clothes.
Suit yourself. If you're going to lose, you might as well be comfortable.
I can tell you've trained hard these last 3 years.
Glad you noticed. I came here to win. Hey! Goku, do you mind if I take a look at your shirt?
What? Sure.
What is this? Goku, this thing weighs a ton. Have you been wearing it for the entire tournament?
Yep, Kami told me to. It was part of my training. It's not much different than Master Roshi's style.
Hey, what is this? I don't see how you managed to walk in these lead boots, let alone fight. This is impossible. Good thing there's no water around.
Are you kidding? 100 kilos? No, lighter than a feather. It's great.
Now, when it comes to punishment, let's compare their punishment game. For -10, Jin's Punisher is stronger. For -12, Jin's Punisher is a joke, and Noctis is much superior. For -13, Noctis' Punisher is much stronger. For -14, Jin has a frame-perfect electric wind hook fist. As you know, the electric cannot be buffered. Also, I'd say Jin F1+2 double chamber punch is stronger as a powerful safe wall bounce than Noctis back 3-1 wall splat. For -15 and beyond, it is Noctis supremacy. Noctis down 4-2 will completely overshadow Jin down 3+4, even though Jin down 3+4 has decent range. Let's talk about Noctis down 4-2. Noctis down 4-2 is the most devastating and far-reaching down 4-2 uppercut in the game. It will consistently launch punish moves that no other character in the cast can possibly even dream to launch punish. With its near infinite range, Noctis down 4-2 will easily launch punish moves that would demand elite reflexes and elite execution from Jin in order to be launch punished. And even when the pushback is gigantic enough to the point not even Noctis down 4-2 can reach, Noctis still has the longest reaching non-projectile move in the game, F1+2 spear. Then, when the opponent pressed almost on the other side of the screen, but your spear can't reach it, you have Warp Strike, a 20 frame special mid that will almost reach the entire screen that is also safe on block. But it is death on whiff, particularly if the opponent moves around it. There are 3 things Jin is still potentially better than Noctis. 1. Jin's reactive game. Noctis' reactive game is very similar to Jin's reactive game. Noctis can use his reversal with the same reactive applications as Jin's parry, and Noctis Sabaki, which is a shield bash, is superior to Jin's Suigetsu strike. Not only it is a weapon, but it is also completely safe on block, while Jin's Suigetsu strike is -12. But when it comes to Jin's parry, there is a factor of unlimited reactive potential that Noctis' reversal can't possibly match. There are some moves Noctis can't reversal, such as elbows, knees, headbutts, two-footed kicks, and some flying kicks. Jin's parry gives the user the potential for virtual perfection. In the universe of possibilities, you can offer devastating answers against your opponent's offense. 2. Jin's raw usage of F4 without Zen transition. Assuming the Jin player has world-class execution and can consistently convert counter-hit F4 from most ranges, Noctis doesn't have a move that can replicate this sort of keep-out only Jin raw F4 provides. Sure, Noctis has down forward 1+2 which reaches much further than Jin F4 and even tracks, but it is not a 16 frames counter hit launcher. On that very specific range 2.5 to 3, Jin F4 reigns supreme. Again, assuming the Jin player has world-class execution and can consistently convert the counter hit combo. Noctis FF1+2 Shadow Scissors can emulate Jin F4 into Zen and still be better by being homing, but it cannot emulate raw F4 spacing, which Jin can work with to create whiffs through movement and then electric people into oblivion. Number 3. Greed through lows. Jin's LLRK is potentially stronger in the open than Noctis Emo Man. Against the wall, it is another thing entirely though. Noctis Emo Man is much stronger when a wall is involved or nearby. Let's talk about Noctis Emo Man. When I was experimenting with it, I realized something very special could happen at the wall. So I was looking for to emulate a similar Jin tech, resplats. Jin does it with back to 1. So I figured I would be able to do it with Noctis as well through his quote-unquote Jin back to 1, which is Noctis down back 1, 1+2, dancing edge. And so it happened that I did it. Then I accidentally discovered something that goes way beyond what I could ever expect. And it's all due to that spike property from Noctis down back 1 I mentioned and explained before. This cannot ever be done through Jin back to 1. I can see now there's a reason why a guy like Cherryberry Mango migrated from Jin to Noctis and immediately became a contender in Grand Finals once he set Tekken 7 Jin aside and picked a character who actually rewards him with consistency. The answer is simple. Noctis is what Tekken 7 Jin was supposed to be, but isn't. An actually viable character cannot have sabotage lateral movements like a big ultra heavyweight, while not having any of the inherent advantages of big characters. An actually viable character must have the capacity to hit grounded opponents just like any other Tekken character, for God's sake. The thing is, Noctis works, and all the legacy Jin skills you gather as a Jin specialist will greatly reward you when playing Noctis. Whereas Jin Virtual Unlimited Reactive Potential cannot ever be fully achieved by a human being. Jin only demands from you that you are a 2-assisted machine every single day, every single match, every single round, every single interaction, that you are always on point, always bringing dedicated specialized answers, and that you keep successfully pairing your opponent's offense. Because you for sure as hell can't rely on his movement to deal with the opponent's offense. When you play Tekken 7 Jin, you are always at the mercy of unreactable 50-50s from your opponent by being forced to guess either his unreactable conservative low poke or his chunky mid. Because trying to move around your opponent's offense is almost always completely out of the question when playing Tekken 7 Jin. It's pretty much a death sentence every time you try to sidestep, every time you try to sidewalk. So I guess that covers everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown on Noctis from the perspective of a Jin player. It is very unfortunate that I will probably not be able to see what I could personally bring to this character to its fullest potential, because heavy specialization takes time, and time is not in my favor, unfortunately. Tekken 7 is nearly over, and with it, Noctis is gone forever. This is also my last video dedicated to Tekken 7. If God wills it, I might start playing Tekken 8 in 2024 already by building a gaming PC from scratch, so people don't get a 6-year head start on me again. I'm yet to fulfill my promise though. A complete breakdown on Tekken 8 Jin. If you enjoy my Tekken content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Without actual subscriptions, this channel can't go forward. I'm trying my very best to reach 1000 subscriptions, so I'm really counting on you guys to help me on this endeavor. Again, I thank you all for the audience and your attention, and we'll be seeing each other again in due time. God bless.
Fight. KO. All set.